one thing that prevents us from having the success that we want are the ants that are in our head, right? The ANT, automatic negative thoughts. You guys can write that one down because it always happens. There's 80% of the conversations we have in our lives, 80% of the conversations we have are negative. And if we don't take a proactive step moving forward, focusing on the positive, then we're stuck on the negatives. Does that make sense? So understanding how we move forward is going to be important. So here's what I want you to actually really focus on right now is writing down just this one thing. And number one is 5 challenges, things that most individuals will look at it and say, what's hurting you, but what is challenging you the most? 5 challenges, write those down. And once you're finished with those challenges, here's why we want to focus on the challenges, because the only way you can get over those challenges is first when you identify them. Because we typically, when I say we, I'm speaking about with to 80 to 95% of everyone. We know where we want to go, but if we don't write it down, there's no guiding post to get there. Does that make sense? In technology today, we have a GPS. And it doesn't matter when you put in the destination how many left or right turns you take. If you're not going in the direction of what's challenging that destination, wherever you turn left or right, you'll never get there. So if you don't know where you're going, you're never going to arrive. So I want to talk to you about what's really simple and what's really the biggest deterrent for us. And as you can see, as we talked about in chapter 1, are these. And I want you guys to write this down now. Number 1, I'm going to share right after I tell you what this is, and it's our 6 basic fears. Now, here's a quick question. I know some of you know the answers, and Lee's laughing. Don't blurt out the answer, Lee. There's some of us that haven't went through the pre-exercise first. And we're only born with 2 fears. Go ahead, Lee. What's the first fear that we're born with?
Fear of falling.
Fear of falling. Anyone know what the second fear is?
Failing.
Failing? It's a good one. Vinny said it. Say it again, Vinny.
Loud noises.
Loud noises. So we're only born with 2 fears. I want you guys to write that down. Number 1 is the fear of loud noises and the fear of falling. That's exactly why we jump out of parachutes. Or is it, do we jump out of airplanes? Perfectly good airplanes. See, Lee knew that one really well because he had mentioned his biggest fear was heights. So we said, let's conquer that. And that's what the Today is the Day message is all about. The very same day, we booked him for a wonderful experience of skydiving, and we went to conquer that fear. Right? But these are the 6 fears I want to talk about that has been taught to us. Right? Divinely, the Creator only gave us 2. Fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. We don't like being startled. But the 6 basic fears that keep most humans from progressing are these. Number 1 is poverty. Number 2 is old age. So we're afraid of living in poverty, not having enough money, and that could be poverty in spirit as well. Poverty in love. We're afraid of getting old. And because of that, I use a lot of anti-aging products. Now, here's the cool thing about that. The beauty space is such a huge space because they understand that fear. It's a high fear, and they play into it, right? That kind of rolls into number 3, which is criticism. More than anything else, most people fail because they're afraid of being criticized. No one, I mean, I don't like it. I'm sure, Elijah, you don't like anyone pointing out all the things that you did wrong. So we will overwork just so we're not criticized, right? And that actually rolls into number 4, which is crazy how these 6 fears are. But they're not, innate to us, they've been taught to us. Number 4 is really the loss of a loved one. None of us want to have those who were put on this earth here with us gone too soon. But the truth is, we never get out of life alive. So for me, funerals are always something that's supposed to be joyful. And I always plan it. I teach my family the same thing for the ones that will listen. I had a niece who passed recently, had everything planned out. She was 25 years old, gone from cancer. And she planned her funeral before she was gone. And she mentioned she doesn't want anyone to wear black at her funeral. She wanted a party. It was a party. Now, for a 25-year-old to do that is to understand some of these basic concepts that keep most of us down. If you know you're going to die, you might as well just live life to its fullest every single day.